my dearest and beloved Earth's brothers and sisters. This is Ashtar speaking. I greet you, consider you to be part of me, and I consider you to be amazing examples of Source's grace and perseverance at night. In other words, I love you. You have all my respect for persevering and holding on to grace and light in the midst of such darkness. Suppose galactics were our eyes to see. What you are doing is inspirational and is a great service. You are also teaching the rest of us how to stand steadfastly, no matter what the rest of the world thinks of you. Us galactics aren't used to being in a situation where most people around us think we're crazy or deluded. That's certainly an area where you are more experienced, where we can learn from you, where we can look to you for inspiration. I respect you enough that today I'm going to present you with what I think is a high and challenging perspective. I trust you to be able to handle it. My goal for this message is to help you transcend victim consciousness, to help you align more with your soul. So, every day I hear Earth people asking for intervention or help. Now, we actually are doing lots of subtle and covert interventions. Every single one of you would have a much worse life right now, or would even be dead if you weren't doing anything. That said, I can certainly understand the perspective that we are not doing enough and that we should intervene or land pretty much today. Other Pleiadians have pointed out to me in discussions that if my literal children on Earth right now, living a typical Earth life, that at least part of me would want to intervene immediately. And yes, that is true, but you can make policy based on that. Still, I get that argument. I very much do consider the perspective to be entirely valid, but we should intervene or land as quickly as possible. That said, let me share an alternative perspective, one that I'm often choosing to operate out. I frequently use other perspectives too, such as the perspective that if we intervene, it may cause long-term instability. Today, let's talk about one particular perspective. That perspective, all of creation is one big and free playground for souls, and it is largely as it should be. Now, yes, there are a few asterisks here. There was a reincarnation trap on Earth, but has been dismantled. And beings that are disrupting the playground so much that very many others can't have the experiences they want, can in exceptional circumstances get unmade and have their energy reabsorbed into Source. Still, creation is a playground for souls, and you are primarily a soul that has had many, many incarnations. This current incarnation is one that you will leave behind in a relative blink of an eye, but you, your soul, is old indeed. What do souls want? Well, most souls primarily desire experiences and soul growth. To them, pleasure and comfort and love and unity are nice, and being in pain or being oppressed or starving to death are equally nice. They're all just equally valid and valuable experiences. So creation is a playground. Souls can incarnate wherever they wish, more or less. Souls themselves cannot be harmed, except for being unmade in rare situations if they're exceptionally disruptive. And what lower selves would see as painful and undesirable experiences are seen by souls as just as valid as or as valuable as what you would see as happy and desirable experiences. So the galaxy isn't some place that has some light civilizations that are good and nice and desirable. Some planets that produce bad outcomes and undesirable pain and oppression. From my perspective, it's one huge playground. You have some areas, such as the Pleiades, that provide one kind of experience. Some areas, such as Earth, currently provide another kind of experience. The playground has pleasant and fun rides, and the playground has more challenging and demanding rides. So on a fundamental, big picture level, if we put aside some issues that do need to be addressed, and some management that does need to happen, reality is one big playground. Reality really is as it should be. So even if your lower self has a painful life, even if things are hard for your lower self, there's no need for your lower self to go into victim consciousness. After all, most of you are souls chosen to incarnate on Earth. Every single soul is consenting to remain on Earth every single day. Because if you as a soul no longer wish to be on Earth, And it's very easy for you to arrange that your lower self has a heart attack or gets hit by a car and dies. So yes, Earth is a challenging ride, but it's one that you, in the sense of your soul, most likely signed up for. And it's one that you, in the sense of your soul, keeps consenting to every single day. So while from one perspective you may be a victim, it's also true that from this higher perspective you aren't a victim. Now sure, don't bulldoze the parts of you that are in pain. At the same time, it is valid to be able to see this higher perspective as well. Now, it's entirely possible that your conscious mind isn't aligned with what your soul wants. It's entirely possible that your conscious mind currently is in resistance to pain. But then that's something simply to work on. Because whether your conscious mind likes it or not, your soul and not your conscious mind is in the driver's seat for your life to a large extent. So in fact, us galactics are not being callous. What we're doing what Source wants us to do. The Source wants us to balance helping liberate humanity. We've given the souls of Earth what they want in the present moment. We are listening to what the souls of Earth say every single day. We are giving you exactly what you want. The simple truth is that most people on Earth are still asleep. Most of those souls keep asking us for more time to wake up. Because they're hoping that they too can join the new Earth. They get a bit more time to wake up. Plus, they're currently attaining a lot of soul growth. So us galactics are doing exactly what most souls on Earth want us to do. Just that what souls want is primarily experience and soul growth. This current time is such a unique and amazing opportunity for growth, for unique experiences, but most souls don't want it to end yet. They want it to last a little longer. Not a huge while longer, but a little longer. What is happening on Earth is literally what the majority of souls are asking for. Now, yes, your lower self might be in pain, but remember that the true you, your soul, most likely willingly chose to incarnate in an obviously painful world. Your soul every day is consenting to being here, which is confirmed by you still being alive. So if you want to blame anyone for your pain, I guess you could blame your own soul, but then that doesn't make a lot of sense because it's more accurate to think of yourself as your soul, rather than think of yourself as your lower self. Personally, I would advise you to align with your soul, and I would stop labelling pain as bad and wrong. It's understandable not to not enjoy pain, but labelling it as bad and wrong and as something that needs to be fixed is a form of resistance. And resistance to pain creates suffering. So there is nothing wrong with the situation on Earth. What is happening on Earth is literally what the majority of souls are asking for. If your lower self isn't happy with the life it's experiencing, well, your soul to a large extent determines what manifests in your life. If your life sucks, quite likely that is because your lower self hasn't yet let go of certain resistances or learned certain lessons yet. Now, admittedly, it could be the case that even your soul would prefer that the bad guys get arrested today. That galactics would land today. That is possible. Some people's souls generally do feel that way. It's just that they're not in the majority. And currently us galactics are listening to a majority of souls who want that to happen, but don't want that to happen quite yet. It has been said that you are incredibly powerful, and you are. So long as you don't limit the definition of you to just your rational mind. Your soul is very powerful. If you align your lower self to your soul, then you are even greater indeed. The group of Earth human souls is even more powerful. Powerful enough, in fact. But Earth humanity as a collective has quite a lot of influence on what manifests. And indeed, the world you see around you every day is pretty much the world that the majority of Earth human souls want to live in order to learn lessons and have experiences. You can blame the reptilians. You can blame the dark controllers. You can blame greed and lack of consciousness. But really, the world is approximately as most human souls want it to be. If most Earth human souls wanted mass arrest right now, it would probably happen quite quickly. Plus, galactics would seriously consider intervening, if that's what most Earth souls wanted. Most likely, we wouldn't even have to, because you would be doing it yourselves very quickly. Now, to be clear, most Earth souls do want to have mass arrest and the creation of a wonderful new Earth. Or they want to leave Earth and continue lessons elsewhere. They just don't want it to happen quite yet. It's going to happen. People's souls just want a bit more time. Furthermore, source and us positive galactics also want the situation on Earth to end in the not too distant future. So that is going to happen. It's not a primary consideration. But in some ways, the rest of the galaxy can't move forward until Earth is liberated. Plus, we recognise that while starseeds and lightworkers are a minority on Earth, they still very much matter, and in fact, we owe them a great deal. So we're not going to ignore their wishes forever. In the not too distant future, you will really see a new Earth. Now, in the past, messages along these lines have sometimes been accused of moral relativism. Or in other words, people have sometimes said that messages are bad if they're not deeply invested in stopping evil. To that, I would ask you to reflect if you're in resistance to pain in either yourself or others. If you are, well, resistance to pain creates something. Now, your soul might be in the present designed to have pleasant experiences or to meet your galactic family. But that's not the same as labelling pain as bad or invalid. Your soul isn't in resistance to pain in either yourself or others. To your soul, it's all just experiences. Also, in the very distant past, Source has experimented with situations where there was zero evil, and it was boring. Both Source and most souls desired more experiences, and more excitement, and more contrasting catalysts. Hence, being started experimenting with losing their felt connection to Source and to others. So loneliness and evil were created. Still, I would not condemn evil. In fact, I would even drop the concept of evil entirely, and just talk about people who are currently behaving destructively, whom innocence needs to be protected against. After all, pretty much everyone has had incarnations where they were good, and incarnations where they were evil. So just because someone right now is in a good incarnation, why does that make them superior to someone who was right now in an evil incarnation? If you condemn evil, you condemn yourself. You've also been evil. And just because your evil was in a past life doesn't make you superior to someone who's currently living a life where they're evil now. You're not superior to them. You just happen to be in a moment in time right now where you're being good and they're being evil. But another time, they were good and you were evil. The pain you caused wasn't any less real just because that happened to be in a past life right now. Now, yes, it is entirely fine to prohibit people from hurting others. It is also a good idea to actively stop destructive people from harming innocents. I completely agree with those things. And yes, aligning with the light is a much more preferable path to being destructive, for several reasons. I would advise others to align with the light. However, once we agree that people shouldn't hurt others and that innocence should be protected, once we agree on that, it doesn't actually help to judge evil people. The judging other people part, the part where you label them as bad, doesn't contribute anything. You can just agree that people shouldn't hurt others, that innocence should be protected, without judging evil people. I get that most likely you've been hurt in this life by evil people. And again, I fully agree that they should be stopped from hurting other people. Yet ultimately, the solution to the pain of having been hurt by evil people is to look inwards at your own pain and your own inner parts. As the last part of this message, consider the following metaphor. Imagine that you are a mouth of a man named Tom. In this metaphor, you as a mouth represents your conscious mind, and the man named Tom represents your soul. In this metaphor, sweet food represents love and pleasant experiences. Non-sweet food represents challenging or painful experiences. Suppose that you as a mouth are experiencing that non-sweet food just randomly keeps appearing in you, the mouth, and you don't really like it. You prefer sweet food, which sometimes appears at you, but not nearly as often as you would want. You as a mouth try various things. Some of those things do help a bit, yet you keep getting less sweet food than what you want. So you get upset and you label the current situation as being wrong and bad. You ask us Pleiadians to fix this unacceptable situation. We take a look, and we observe that Tom, your soul in this metaphor, is choosing to currently eat mostly non-sweet foods, along with some sweet foods. And curiously, your mouth, your conscious mind in this metaphor, doesn't understand that food doesn't just randomly appear in it, but that in fact Tom is actively putting mostly non-sweet food into the mouth, which is a valid choice. There are health benefits to be gained in this way. Painful experiences can lead to soul growth.
So should we as galactics intervene right now and make sure that more sweet food gets put into Tom's mouth?
Probably not. Tom is making the understandable free will choice to currently eat not a lot of sweet food for health benefits. No need for us to kick him a door, force sweet food down Tom's throat, just to please Tom's mouth. We would advise Tom's mouth to realise that it's part of a greater whole. Now, are you powerless here as the mouth? No, as a mouth, you can certainly ask Tom for a sweet peach. You can certainly ask or pray for certain things to happen. You can use manifestation techniques. And if you ask for something, you may get it. But then again, if you ask for a peach, Tom, your soul, might decide to eat broccoli anyway. Which is why there isn't a prayer or manifestation technique that leads to results for everyone all the time, even though prayer or manifestation techniques work very well sometimes. If you keep being confronted with a certain unpleasant reality, then that isn't your soul torturing you. That's just your soul repeatedly presenting you with an opportunity to release resistance or to heal or to learn a lesson. Apparently you haven't yet released resistance or learned your lesson yet, which is why the challenging situation keeps coming back. If you release resistance and heal and learn your lesson, then more pleasant things will start manifesting in your reality. Don't be too quick to say that you've learned all your Earth lessons already. Almost no physically incarnated Earth human has fully learned all their lessons. If you feel that you've learned all your lessons already, feel free to teleport to a New Jerusalem, and we'll happily welcome you. If you can't, then there are still lessons that you can learn and growth that you can achieve. While I get that you may be tired or struggling, this still is a truly unique opportunity, exceptionally favourable time to learn lessons and achieve soul growth, which is why most Earth souls want this current situation to go on for just a little bit longer. With all this said, you will still be free. Your future is still incredibly bright, filled with light and grace and ease and connection and warmth. You are still going to be meeting us in the not too distant future. None of those things have changed, and none of those things will change. Even if most Earth souls keep asking for more 3D time, at some point in the not too distant future, their time will be up, and the new Earth era will arrive that you and us of galactics have been waiting for. Now meeting will be glorious indeed, and personally I can't wait to meet. I leave you today with all my love and respect. We are one. Ashtar.